Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 2 in the series between Moon and Happy. Over here on the bottom right hand side of the map, we have Happy spawning as the yellow undead. Meanwhile, over here on the top left, we have Moon spawning as the red night elf. Night elf versus undead in this 1v1, and I know that night elf versus undead is a rather common matchup, but how often do we get to see the legend Moon play in tournaments? Now, game number 1, Moon was not nearly as polished as he needed to be, but we'll see if he'll be able to bounce back here in game number 2. Meanwhile, over here, Happy taking a nice 1-0 lead so far in this series, and we'll see if he'll be able to continue to press that. I do expect Moon to make some of the adjustments necessary to bounce back here in game number 2, such as building that early Ancient of Wonders for that Staff of Preservation. Now, also, Moon perhaps not understanding the meta nearly as much, not realizing how many ghouls that Happy could really mass up while still being able to tech to tier 2. Happy getting to tier 2 with a large number of ghouls and part of his army still, and being able to put down a lot of pressure, being able to get a lot of surrounds down, really opened up the game for Happy. Now, Moon is going to be training up some archers here. We can see that there is a Demon Hunter now in the works as an acolyte from Happy, once more doing that early scouting. Over here on the bottom right still, we see a good wall off by Happy so that Demon Hunter will not be able to do any sort of harassment short of buying either a Staff of Teleportation or a Goblin Zeppelin. Archer is in position here. We can see a little bit of damage come across. Happy looks as though he wants to do a little bit more scouting this time around rather than falling prey to a quick ensnare. Demon Hunter should be coming down to join us here in just a moment. Meanwhile, the Death Knight should be coming out and about. He's going to be picking up a Rod of Necromancy, 3 ghouls. With that, Death Knight should easily clear out this 5-3-3 creep camp. Ogre Magi gonna go ahead and get cleared up here. There it goes, gets taken down, picks up Claws of Attack +6, or will, as soon as he does try to engage it here. What is going on? It looked as though the Demon Hunter purposely attacked the Ancient of War to pull aggro off from the unit. You can see that the Demon Hunter has taken a little bit more damage than you would normally suspect at this point, and we'll see if that comes back to haunt Moon. You always want to control how much damage you take, especially as a Night Elf player, since you do not regenerate hit points during the day nearly as quickly, and you get a double bonus with those Moonwells at night. Ogre Warrior going to quickly get felled here in just a moment as the Death Knight wanders out across the map. Is the Demon Hunter going to be able to pick up Boots of Speed? Moon not having those Boots of Speed in game number 1 allowed for those quick surrounds as the Death Knight sticks his head in, and now he is spotted. The Death Knight at any point could easily get to level 2 as those ghouls are clearing out the bottom side here. Once this Null Brute is taken out, the Death Knight would in fact get to level 3, or excuse me, level 2, and you saw him get that Death Coil a little bit earlier than you normally would see at this stage. Alright, Death Knight spots the Demon Hunter coming up the ramp, and it looks like the Demon Hunter is going to go ahead and finish off at least one skeletal minion there. Archers are currently shadow melded as the Demon Hunter now, once more getting absolutely surrounded. Happy doing a great job of just constantly maintaining this. Alright, are we going to see a detonation? Oh, no detonation there. Demon Hunter down to 95 hit points, does finish off a ghoul. Archers are going to stay shadow meld. So there was, I guess, a trade, a Scroll of Town portal for an early ghoul. Now, not always a very good trade, but the Demon Hunter is going to stay alive. You see him have decent hit points as we are going to move out into the middle part of game number 2. Demon Hunter still wandering around back across over here. Death Knight wants to finish off this Null Overseer. Death Knight relatively low on mana after perhaps a handful of detonations and death coils. Archers need to escape back. The Unholy Aura could cause problems as the Death Knight down to 67. Are we going to perhaps see a mana burn? And once more, Moon is going to be in trouble again. The Death Knight getting in front, unable to get the death coil off, as he is now once again low on mana. Boots of Speed on that Death Knight. Demon Hunter now perhaps going to try and go toe-to-toe with the Death Knight. And the Demon Hunter actually has a slight advantage here with those Claws of Attack +6. Against the Gloves of Haste. All right, Demon Hunter now going to make its way over. You can see archers are trying to do a little bit of poking as well. Null Overseer down to 55 hit points, down to 17, and it looks as though the Death Knight does get the killing blow there. Demon Hunter still trying to engage, and the Demon Hunter having a difficult time getting within melee range of that one particular ghoul. One more shot should do it, and I believe the Demon Hunter should be able to catch up there. Is it going to get choked up on a sheep? Oh, yes, he does. Once more, sheep crossings causing the death of ghouls in WarCraft 3. If you ever wondered why Death Knights go around the map killing sheep, well, it is in order to protect ghouls. Back across over here, Naga Sea Witch has been trained up, and this is going to be an important time for Moon. Moon needs to be able to handle this split very well. You can see Boots of Speed and Gloves of Haste have been transferred to the Naga Sea Witch of Happy. Meanwhile, down across over here, there goes a ghoul. The Demon Hunter, is it going to be able to teleport back home? Yes, it will. And it's going to teleport back home, regenerate those hit points, and then make its way back out again. You can see that the Ancient of Wonders has already been completed once more, as the Naga Sea Witch does have a Staff of Preservation. Now, are we going to see an engagement here? Demon Hunter is in position, and that is a lot of damage. Demon Hunter going to go after those units. He does have a Potion of Healing as well, so he's going to use that Potion of Healing fairly effectively again. There goes another ghoul, and Happy perhaps does not realize that the Naga Sea Witch does in fact have a Staff of Preservation. Is it going to use it in time? Yes, it will. Beautifully done. And that was a very good exchange by Moon. Archer is going to be in trouble, making this perhaps... Oh, I don't know if it was denied in time, as the... Naga Sea Witch did not get any experience, so the Naga Sea Witch of Moon denied that Archer there. Dryads now added. Demon Hunter joining in on the fight. Are we perhaps going to see, yes, Adept training for the Druids of the Claw, Tree of Eternity now being upgraded, as the Demon Hunter takes its time and gonna be able to use time as a resource for mana on those Druids of the Claw. Back down across over here, Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch, not much experience. We now are getting the Slaughterhouse, which is a little bit later than normal, which means we will still not be getting Obsidian statues for the near future. Well, as near future as you can be in WarCraft 3, about 2 minutes before, a minute and a half before we see our next Obsidian statue. Death Knight is currently invisible. Potion of Invisibility. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter does in fact have healing wards, so those healing wards could act as a major bonus here. Dryads perhaps going to start aggroing creeps here, backing off. Let's see what's going to be happening next. Death Knight is going to be lying in wait, and no Dust of Appearance, nothing like that. Death Knight, let's take a look, sitting at 274 experience, and he gets the kill. And does he get the item? I do believe so. He grabs the item, another pair of Boots of Speed, as the Death Knight is not going to be able to do much of anything else. All right, he's going to be forced to retreat, but the damage has already been done. The Naga Sea Witch still sitting at level 1 after that experience denial there, but we are going to be getting Druids of the Claw to join in on the fight as well. Adept training is already done. Rejuvenation, Tome of Agility quickly used by the Demon Hunter. Meanwhile, Tree of Eternity is nearly done, as the dual Ancients of Lore are not training anything as of yet. Demon Hunter off over here. Death Knight is going to try and steal, but the Druid of the Claw does deal fairly decent damage, 20 to 26. It isn't that high, but it is not something that you can ignore either. Dryad's gonna get a little bit... Nope. Dryad deciding not to poison the Death Knight. I would have thought that the Dryad would be the one that first poisoned the Death Knight, as we are looking at... Oh, the Druid of the Claw purposely trying to get in front of that Death Knight. Death Knight now down to 65 or 0 mana after that mana burn. Alright, Druid of the Claw, we should see another rejuvenation come in here. Oh, nope. Instead, using a healing ward, and that is going to be a very just perfect timing. The archers with those cold arrows from the Naga Sea Witch able to push back any sort of pressure. Meanwhile, healing wards keeping up the majority of this army here. One Druid of the Claw still regenerating those hit points, so just fighting within combat range there, and now also getting a rejuvenation as well. Naga Sea Witch going to be sitting at 2. Tome of Knowledge, +1 stats across the board. And, well, books are not worth reading. Not in my house. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Red Drake coming back across. You're going to see a Staff of Teleportation come back in. Demon Hunter now with much better items in game number 2. Health Stone and those healing wards there. Meanwhile, Naga Sea Witch will in fact get to level 3. And we do see True Shot Aura, an item that may be given to the Naga Sea Witch in order to keep all of those archers and dryads fairly strong. Back across in the center, Moon is establishing the Tree of Life. He will in fact establish up 2 bases as we're at 46 over 60 supply. Naga Sea Witch looking strong. Demon Hunter almost at level 4. Could get level 2 evasion at any point. Death Knight still sitting at 2, while the Naga Sea Witch is also sitting at 2. 1 Red Drake up in the air. Are we going to see enough units? The Lich with that Orb of Corruption, -5 armor. Overall for -3 increased damage is 17%. As we now see a quick Frost Nova Death Coil. And Orb of Corruption hit on a very, very well wounded Demon Hunter. Level 4 now on the Demon Hunter. The Health Stone quickly used there as we are now going into an engagement. Dryad number 1 was taken down. Dryad number 2, Obsidian Statue, mana burned almost to death, down to 103 hit points before natural regeneration from the Unholy Aura. Alright, another True Shot Aura. You cannot leave that behind, nor should you leave behind a Tome of Intelligence +2, but what's a book worth anyways? Alright, Forest Troll Berserker gonna get cleared out here, and Moon, knowing that he has the economic advantage, is not opting to put pressure on his opponent. He's gonna perhaps use this opportunity to get into a larger army here. And while his opponent, Happy, is sitting at a no upkeep army. It does mean that Moon will have the larger army in the upcoming fight, but he cannot afford to lose this expansion. He's only getting about a 40% increase in gold per second over his opponent because of those taxes. Death Knight sitting at level 3, Naga Sea Witch sitting at 3, Lich sitting at 1, as we need to see more mana being added. Happy's Obsidian Statue, falling apart at the seams, so to speak, needs to get repaired. It is a mechanical unit. Demon Hunter sitting at level 4, sitting right next to the Goblin Merchant Shop. We'll see what's happening there, as we're going to be looking at, more and more training of units back at home. 68 over 80 supply, more bears being added, so the bears are there to try and counteract the Crypt Fiends. Meanwhile, the Dryads are there to counteract the Destroyers, while the Crypt Fiends are looking to take down those Dryads. So a little bit of Trump unit versus Trump unit versus Trump unit there, and all we know is there's going to be a lot of death. Down across here, Ancient of War showing 72 over 80 supply, as it looks as though Happy realizes the expansion and now making a move to try and clear it out. Little does he know that Moon has a significantly larger army at this stage. Let's take a look. 54 compared to 72, and a lot of pelting and a lot of slowing now coming across. Bears, where are they? The Bears are in the backfield. They need to be moved to the front line. And then once those bears are in that front engagement location, perhaps enough damage can be done. All right, Staff of Preservation quickly save some units there. Dryads are trying to focus down units. Bear number 1 looks like it will get taken down here in just a moment. Death Coil saving off a Destroyer. There goes 1 bear as we are still fighting things through. Level 4 still fighting a lot of units. Healing Ward in the backfield now, as there goes another. We're going to see a Devour Magic. No, it gets taken out first, as another bear could get taken out again. That is a lot of death for a lot of bears, as the Death Knight now trying to get into position once more. Crypt Fiend looking to go after a unit. There is a Death Coil again. There goes that last bear. So all the bears are now gone, but now the Crypt Fiends are all going to get cleaned up. It looks as though there is one last Destroyer up in the air. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Death Knight now trying to get away. Looks like he will be able to get away. Dryads with that slow poison slowing things off, as we now see level 5 on the Demon Hunter. Level 5 Demon Hunter, level 4 Naga Sea Witch. Great damage across the board as Happy gives the GG knowing that he will not be able to recover his army, especially when his opponent has the economic advantage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are all tied up at 1 game apiece as we go on into game number 3.